If you've lived in Louisville long, then you know that Hillcrest Avenue is to Halloween what the North Pole is to Christmas. It gets a little crazy, it gets a little spooky, it may seem a little calm now, but I promise you, it's going to be fun. Welcome to Louisville Focus. Here we are at 111 Hillcrest Avenue, and I promise you, yes, a little creepy, but a whole lot of fun. I, at one time, was the house comic here, and people were dying to see me.
John, you were clearly killing it.
I was absolutely killing him. With me now is Councilman Owen, and he represents District 9, which is right here, Hillcrest Avenue. Councilman, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I really appreciate it. Okay, now, I know a lot of your job is about economic development and trash pickup, and there's big things and little things, but this is a special kind of, special time of year here at Hillcrest, right?
This is fun. I mean, how many streets do you know that are known for something like Hillcrest is known for Halloween? I can't think of any, and what we have here is a group of neighbors that are committed to having fun and have been committed to having fun for a long time. And there are enough of them that are willing to put in the work to do all of this that all the rest of us get to enjoy it.
See, you're perfect to be the councilman for this district because I can tell you're excited about it. I know they're excited about it. So what do they have, like neighborhood meetings and say, okay, let's all get ready because here comes Halloween? I mean, this thing is not a small undertaking.
It has to be organized, right? And honestly, I'm not sure exactly how that works. They do all of this together. My office is not, a part of it, but it's commitment. When I drive through here all the time, or I walk with my kids and we look at all this fun Halloween stuff, the first thing that comes to my mind is, wow, that's a lot of work, right? And so you have to be committed to doing it, and they are.
Well, as a councilman, I would think there's a lot to be said for positive attention to your district. This is certainly that. It is positive attention. Tell me, what's the big payoff for you? I see you smiling because everyone here, of course, knows you, but the kiddos, to see them smile and to see them in awe, or maybe even a little scared, it's fun.
It's super fun, and I love the fact that people come from all over Jefferson County to see Hillcrest Avenue, right? We love it when people come into District 9. We're proud of District 9, and so any event like this that serves as a way to bring people in, I'm happy about, we're happy about.
I know it's tough to put a meter on it, but are you familiar with any of the numbers, Andrew? I would think, because I've been down here, when traffic is wall to wall, people are taking their time, they want to see all the decorated homes, and the kids are, going from home to home and collecting candy.
The only number I can tell you is I heard today the number 20,000. Now, what I don't know is whether that's over a certain period of time. I don't know, what period of time that 20,000 is, but we were tossing around 20,000 as a number that I heard today.
Okay, well, Andrew, before I let you go, okay, on a personal note, I have to ask you, see, I kind of like the more quote-unquote friendly homes that are a little bit less scary, more whimsical. Yeah. How about you? What do you prefer?
I like the ones that are a little bit spooky. Like, okay. I kind of talked about this as being kind of a family-friendly version of A Nightmare on Elm Street, but I kind of like the ones that lean toward the nightmare rather than, the friendly.
To each his own, right?
That's right. Yeah.
All right, so once again, we are on Hillcrest, and of course it is that time of year, and I'm telling you, everyone is enjoying it. An iconic Halloween movie that we're all familiar with is Friday the 13th. Well, we just happen to be at 113 Hillcrest Avenue, and the owner of this very spooky home is Brian Adams. Brian, first of all, I guess I should say thank you. Welcome into your very spooky home.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Welcome. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Now, for whatever reason, and you have to explain this, they told us you're the guy to talk to. You're the guy. How did you become the guy?
I have no idea how I became the guy, but could be the giant spider here behind us.
Yes,
it's very sort of photogenic.
He is photogenic, and you mentioned to me that he's actually been photographed by the Courier-Journal, correct?
Yeah, that's right. We've been on several of the news sites, and people like to set up here and take videos and pictures in front of them. So yeah, we do interviews pretty often.
So Brian, how long have you lived in this home?
We moved in 2019.
Whose thought process was involved in creating the spider and the entire scene that you have here?
Yeah, so the scene was both combination, my wife and me. These I did myself. So the little one over there and this big one I built in my garage. everybody always asks, where do you store it? And these legs come off, and we store it up in the rafters. And we cannot have a bigger one because it's full. Rafters out in the garage. Yeah. So, and then last year my wife added fur onto it and eyeballs, and hopefully next year we'll have palps and fangs, and every year we buy a few more spiders and a couple more hangy things. So it's, you know, it's just a little sort of iterative approach. Every year we add a little bit more.
Hangy things.
Hangy things,
And
yes.
that is part of the fun, isn't it? It's like every year improving, getting a little bit more spooky or whatever the case may be, right?
That's right.
Okay, now you were telling me, you've mentioned this a couple of times in our brief little conversation before we were rolling the cameras here. You said it's about the kids. You talked about the kids and how much kids are. Tell me about what that means to you and your wife.
Yeah, well, it's a lot. I mean, I remember walking through neighborhoods when I was little, and it was just a lot of fun. You could always get to know people, and you had like close-knit neighbors and stuff. And over the years, you know, I'd kind of gotten disconnected from that. And moving back to the street and building this and seeing all the kids back out, and the impact that just being able to come out and do this has on them. You see people sort of tear up sometimes. It's just an amazing thing to get to experience, to see the joy on people's face.
So is there a prerequisite before you buy a home, before you sign the deed? It's like, okay, you agree to decorate for Halloween.
No. Everybody thinks there is. There was no pressure. Nobody wanted to. In fact, I was not a big fan of decorating for Halloween. It was something that was just like a pain to do. And then we moved in, and it was just infectious, and my wife loved to do it, and I got going on this, and I kind of fell in love with it. And it's just a thing that we now block off a weekend for and look forward to every year. And
You're all in.
Really enjoy it. Yep.
You are all in, I can tell. Okay, so tell me, give me some numbers. Guesstimate number of kids. What do you think?
Yeah, so we all usually buy about 3,000 pieces of candy. We give away one piece of candy for the first 3 hours or so of the event, and then depending on how much we have left, maybe 2 for the ends of it. So we estimate usually around 3,000 kids
A night?
on Halloween itself, and then 4,000 to 5,000 people when you throw in all the supporting staff.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a big event.
And, I don't know if there's a correct term because it is supposed to be a little bit spooky, but it's a whole lot of fun. It is iconic. It's a celebration. How do you describe it to people who aren't from Louisville and they're not familiar with Hillcrest Avenue? What do you tell folks?
They're sort of the things that define the culture and the place that you live. And when those things disappear, a thing disappears from your city, and some of that sort of enjoyment and the thing that makes your city or yourself who you are. It's one of those defining characteristics of this town.
So for folks who want to make a note, whether they put it in their phone, they put it on their refrigerator, old school style, give me the hours. When are you open? When can people come? What's a good time to come and check out all there is to see here on Hillcrest?
So 5 o'clock to 9. We end it right at 9, starts right at 5. There's so many people out. As it gets later in the night, it's dark, more cars show up, it just gets more dangerous. So we like to just kind of cut it off right when it's safe for everybody. So from 5 o'clock we start, 9 o'clock we end. Usually it's best to get here once the sun goes down, all the lights come out. It's just a lot more fun to see all the houses decorated. But if you've got little ones that might be scared or not out that late, we are here at 5. It's a little bit less busy, so bring your kids out then.
Okay, speaking of being scared, okay, you let me know something you may do. So this guy here who looks very real, very genuine and authentic, tell him your idea of what you may do next year.
Well, my wife keeps threatening that I'm going to have to lie out here and get wrapped up, and so all the kids come by on the weekends leading up to it, and everybody knows this is just not a real mannequin, and then I sit up. So
you sit up and scare him.
Hopefully
You're such
next
a nice
year maybe.
guy,
I keep trying to convince my son, so I think he should do it.
Yeah, let's scare somebody. Yeah, that would definitely do it. But congratulations, you've really captured something here. Whether it's the spiders, the cocoons, you've really captured what I know you were looking for. So congratulations to you. Thanks for being a part of it.
So I would like to point out, we collect canned goods and non-perishables for Crescent Hill Ministries. And then this year we are also going to be collecting gently used costumes and stuff like that for Hope Bus.
So some good can come out of scaring people.
That's right. So you'll see little collection boxes, and they'll either be for cans and non-perishables and or bins for costumes.
Right. So bring out some non-perishables, bring out some donated gifts, and again, it's going to be easy to remember because Unlucky 13113 Hillcrest Avenue. Stop by, do some good. Brian, thanks for all you do, the decorations, the giving back to the community. Thanks to you and your wife.
Thank you, appreciate it.
All right, and happy Halloween to everyone, coming to you once again from 113 Hillcrest Avenue. make no bones about it, I've made a lot of friends here, and I've made a friend in Aiden Schmidt. Aiden Schmidt is the owner of 209 Hillcrest Avenue. And you're a new resident, is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Aiden, tell me, there had to be some part of your attraction to the home was the Halloween season, right?
Oh, yeah.
Well, I have seen your home. You've done an excellent job decorating your yard. Tell the folks a little bit about what you've made, and a lot of it you did with your own two hands.
So I built the guillotine out of just 4x4s at Home Depot and screws. I built all the PVC people like Frankenstein, Michael Myers, all of them I built and just found clothes to put them on, stuffed them with tarps. And then the smoker, I found that in the alley. The weed eater and lawnmower, I also found in the alley. They're junk. Just put skeletons on them.
From what I understand too, a lot of your, what you have built is sustainable, right?
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. So for you, you have to get a kick out of the kids when they come by and see something that you've built. Mm-hmm. So what kind of reaction do you see?
Just, they're pointing at it. It's really something.
I would think that someone like you has a passion for Halloween. You were raised that way. Someone instilled that in you. I guess your mom and dad, were they always into the holidays?
Yeah, at our old house, my dad always used to decorate a bunch, and I sort of just caught on and always loved it.
So you've lived here less than a year?
A little more than a year. We moved here last August.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about the relationship with your neighbors. It's almost, I would think, before you move into the neighborhood, I'm sure they'd come to you and they go, you know, Aiden, we do a little special thing here, Halloween. Well, what did they say to you?
Well, I mean, my neighbor Mike, he lives 2 doors down. He does a whole lot. He just sort of helped me get some stuff ready. He gave me the pirate ship, so that was a big help. And he's just really been a lot of help putting it all up and teaching me how to do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Now, obviously, there's some work involved and your handiwork, and I appreciate the fact that you're good with your hands. But there had to be some fun in planning it and trying to map everything out.
I love doing it.
Did you love it?
It's great. It's my favorite thing.
So what would you say to parents who may be watching Louisville Focus now and they're saying, hey, I'm thinking about bringing my kids out to Hillcrest this year, next year, whatever. What would you tell them?
100% do it. It's great.
It is absolutely great.
I don't see any frowns on anybody's faces. They all love it.
I appreciate what you do, Aiden Schmidt.
Thank you so much.
He's one of the guys that makes it special here on Hillcrest Avenue during the Halloween season. With me now you are the Coffields.
Yes, I am.
Coffield Johnson, is that correct?
Right, correct. My maiden name was Coffield, and I'm married, so Tracy Coffield Johnson.
Tracy Coffield Johnson joins us now. Let's talk about that history, because I remember when I was a youngster, I remember bringing my kids in there. They're older now. It's a tradition, isn't it? Tell me about the history.
Yes, absolutely. We have people that come in that their grandparents are bringing them in, and then they bring their kids in, and they bring their kids in. It's wonderful. So we hear stories every day from people that have been bringing in generations of children. Actually, we started in around 1915 as a photography studio. And it was my grandfather, and I call the photography studios the video stores of the 80s. They were on every corner. And so my father was a small child and was actually hit by a car, and they had $25 in insurance money left over. So they took the $25 and put tricks and jokes in the waiting room at the photography studio. And pretty soon the tricks and jokes, people were coming to us more for that than they were for the photographs. And so we closed the photography studio and started Caufield's Novelty in 1920.
A tragedy, but it brought something that brought a lot of smiles to people. So that's a really unique and really cool legacy.
My father said that actually during the Depression, the tricks and jokes really sold like crazy because people were looking for something inexpensive and fun to take their mind off of the tragedy of that time. So,
well, Tracy, you've taken those tricks and jokes to another level. Now, if you go into Caufield's, folks, I've got to tell you, it is unbelievable.
We love to make Caufield's a destination for people at Halloween time. So they come in, they can see our Michael Myers replica front porch and get their photo taken on the front porch with Michael Myers. We have the screen chair. We have the dragon under the stairs from the Munsters
Ooh,
spot.
The Munsters, yeah.
Yeah, and then we have our dungeon, which is where all of our animatronics and props like these are that you can purchase, and they're on display for you to be able to see. So it's our spooky room.
Yeah, it's a lot like Hillcrest Avenue in that people come in, yes, to purchase things, but also just to look and be in awe of everything that you have. It's incredible, and something for every price range. So Speaking of, you brought us a little bit of a sampling, so Tracy, if you would, show us around.
So quickly, the costumes this year that are popular, I brought the Descendants for little girls, which is a great Disney show that's very popular. I brought Fortnite. Actually, one of our Deadpool superheroes has been super popular. We're out of them, but they're coming back in this week. So Beetlejuice and Lydia for adults.
He's back.
Absolutely. So we have a lot of people doing Beetlejuice and Lydia. Scream is always popular, but this year, you know, a new little variation for the women with a little bling scream.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'd say is bling scream.
Yeah, and we have like 25 different kinds of Scream masks, believe it or not. Scream has kind of overtaken everything.
This one's a little spooky.
This year, Art the Terrifier, there's a new movie. These are the glasses that he wears in the movie. Not really Halloween-y, a little Christmas, but you know, this is the movie that's out now that is super popular. And then I brought a little prop with me for Scream. We have much bigger props, but this is just like a small version. And then I brought some of our stage makeup. We have a makeup artist on staff that can help people do just about anything they want to do with makeup. So it's just something that's kind of what makes us stand out a little bit, I think.
Yes, you know, that's something I've always noticed. You have experts in every department. Your staff is incredible. It's not just folks who are, hey, I'm coming in, I've got a job here. They take it very seriously because really, Halloween is your Christmas.
Right, absolutely. And we have employees that have been there, some of them over 20 years, but most of them are long time. We do hire, you know, help at Halloween, but a lot of our employees are long-time employees that are very knowledgeable in their area. And so like the makeup artist can help you with the makeup. I have a lady who's been in wigs for over 20 years. So you can say, I need to look like this, and she'll go, oh, let me take you to that. So it kind of works out great. We have great staff in the costume room. So we can help you put together what you need and what you're looking for. If we don't have the exact thing, we'll help you put it together.
And I would think, Tracy, you mentioned your grandfather and your father, so I would think you've developed real relationships over the years, friends who come in every year, and whether it be for their yard or to put on a costume, they love coming to Coffield.
Absolutely, and it is really heartwarming when I hear people say, you know, I came here as a little kid and now I'm bringing my grandkids. It's incredible.
I've noticed that a lot of these costumes do involve movies and movie themes. Is that the trend, or is that something that's been here a long time and will continue?
It's always been that way. It's always, now of course if there's something in pop culture in the news, you know, things usually that can definitely play into it as well. But movies definitely have an effect. It's very difficult because we have to order for next year in December. So it's very difficult to know in December what's going to be popular next year, but we do our best. I wish I had an actual crystal ball that I could look into and see what's going to be a great movie and what's going to be a flop. But you know, you do the best you can and try to order ahead with as much knowledge as you can.
Yeah, I think you guys are really knowledgeable when it comes to this. Okay, with the name, you know, Coffield. Okay, so this is in your DNA.
Oh, absolutely.
It is absolutely in your DNA. So, do you like the spooky side of it? Do you like the more fun side of it? I mean, when you think of Halloween, or is it all business? You were telling me, you say, I rarely get out because of the store is so crowded, right?
I know. I was invited to a big Halloween party this year, and I was like, you know, believe it or not, I've actually never been to a Halloween party because I've always been working, and we're just exhausted by the time it's over. But it's, you know, it's what we live for. So I absolutely love it. I love when someone comes in and says, I don't know what I'm going to be. Help me come up with something. I can usually look at people and go, you would look great in.
Oh, all right.
You know.
So what do you think? Frankenstein?
Ooh, no,
Pretty scary.
I don't think so. I think maybe gangster.
Oh, a gangster? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
See, that
I
was
can
quick.
see in the pinstripe and the, yeah, absolutely.
I would think that for Caulfield's, Hillcrest Avenue, there's a special relationship here because you can probably look at all of these decorations and say, that's mine, that's mine. They bought that at Caulfield's, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, for those who are not familiar, if you're watching Louisville Focus now and they're saying, hey, where is Caulfield's? I just moved to town, I'm not familiar, tell them.
So we're at 10th and Main in downtown Louisville. We also have a great website. It has all of our inventory on it, so you can order online for counter pickup, or you can come in store and shop with us. So 10th and Main, we have free parking on both ends of the building. There's street parking out front as well, right in the heart of Main Street.
Okay, you're third generation. Is there fourth generation working the store?
We're hoping so. We're hoping so.
All right. Once again, Tracy Coffield Johnson, and she is with Caufield's, part of the history of Halloween right here in Louisville. You know, it's always nice when you can say you have a police officer who is a friend, and I can authentically say that because Officer John Keeling, we've been friends a long time.
Long time, John, that's right.
Well, thank you for joining us. Now, you're a resource officer. What exactly does that mean? You described it very well.
That's correct, yes, sir. Basically, I'm the liaison between the police department and the citizens of the 5th Division.
Okay, well, this is a fun time of year, but with that, I know first and foremost for you as a police officer, for our mayor, for all of us as citizens, safety is number one, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Well, let's talk about Halloween safety. So I know you have some recommendations, some tips for folks who are watching Louisville Focus, so give them to us, John.
Well, sure. It's basically common sense fundamentals, John. Recommend that you don't send your kids out alone. I know it's not cool to have the parents hang around, but drop back a half a block, but keep an eye on them.
There you go.
Keep a close eye on them. They should be wearing, if they can, bright colored costumes, and those costumes shouldn't be something that would interfere with their peripheral vision, so they can see, particularly if crossing the street. And speaking of that, they should use the crosswalks. Try not to cut between cars and cross in the middle of the block. It's just dangerous. If you're going to walk around at twilight or even in the dark, carry a flashlight or those glow sticks are a good idea. Going beyond that, I wouldn't let your child have any candy that's not wrapped. I also wouldn't accept any invitations into anyone's home if you don't know them real well, or their garage, or whatever they might have set up on their property. Like I said, common sense fundamentals, pay attention, and keep your kids close to you.
I think you made a lot of great points there, but one of them being, make sure that costumes don't interfere with their vision, yes, with the way they walk. You remember back in the old days, we had those plastic masks, and they had, they cut into your eyes, and they had these little slits, and you could barely see.
And
we don't want that.
Lasted one night, yeah.
They lasted one night, exactly right.
Yeah.
But you're smiling because I do think here in Louisville, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure it's true of a lot of cities around the country, but we do have a special love for this time of year.
We do.
And a lot of that is because of Hillcrest Avenue, isn't it?
It has a lot to do with it, yes, sir. This is an American tradition. Halloween's an American tradition, and we need to carry it on. We do have other options, such as trunk or treat, and those are done throughout each division of the department. We have our own on the Halloween, but that's another alternative. It's more like a parking lot party for the kids.
There we go.
Candy and be entertained somewhat.
I've seen those, and I know you're involved with quite a few of them. So what it is, people decorate their cars instead of their homes or their yards, and they just open them up, right?
Correct. Open up the trunk, decorate it, and let the kids come up and get their candy and exchange, and give them stickers and things like that. We've got face painting this year, and it's just a lot of fun, and it's an alternative to walking the streets.
So, Officer Keeling, I know that safety is first and foremost, no doubt about it. But I do want to keep the tradition of trick-or-treating and being able to come to Hillcrest Avenue. So all of that's important to you. And as an officer, and I'm sure your fellow officers feel the same way, let's keep it safe enough. Let's be diligent enough as parents to watch out after the kiddos to keep this tradition, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir. It's a lot of fun, and you're building memories, you're making memories.
Yeah.
Keep it going.
I've got to tell you, folks, and we have been friends a long time, you made a lot of memories for me, not just because of you and your uniform, and you do keep me safe, I know that, but also you're with a band called Caribou.
Yes, I am.
And you are fantastic.
Well, thank you very much. My brother and I have had that band. As a matter of fact, we're in our 50th year.
Yeah, back in the day, my wife was a groupie. I think she still has a Caribou T-shirt. So, you guys are...
It might be worse. It might be worth $7 or $8 now.
Oh, it's worth more than that. Officer Keeling, really, professional level, I appreciate you very much. And as an entertainer, I appreciate you as well.
Well, it's my pleasure. I'm glad you like it.
Right, making it fun here on Hillcrest Avenue with Officer John Keeling. If you're a youngster and you're watching Louisville Focus and your father or your mother said, hey, I've been coming out to Hillcrest since I was a kid, they're telling you the truth. There's a long history here. With me now is Tony Smallwood. Tony, thank you for having us in.
Thank you.
Well, this is a little spooky, but something that's not so scary but true is that this has been happening for a long time. Tell us about the history.
Well, it's actually been going on a little bit longer than even I thought it had. They'd done a little research, and they said back in the 70s, there's a family down at the 300 block near the Brownsboro Road end of it, and they started doing it and giving out candy, and before long there were 9 families in on it. And then a little bit later in the 80s, there's a fellow named Robert Gravett, and he started introducing animatronics to stuff. And my memory of it is he used pneumatics. So he had a big air compressor somewhere, and when you walked up, stuff would jump out of garbage cans and things like that. So it's pretty cool stuff.
So it's kind of like the old keeping up with the Joneses kind of thing. It's like, okay, my neighbor's doing this, I've got to up my game, and then pretty soon the whole neighborhood's involved, right?
It's really kind of more like not upping the game, it's I can do that too. And then the artistic side of it starts rocking in there. I mean, when we first started doing this here, we didn't have anything but some PVC and a smoke machine, and my nieces and nephews laying out here on the ground, and I would pump the smoke machine through the PVC and holes in it, and the smoke would rise out of the ground, and here they'd come out and scare people on the sidewalk.
So you said it's more like I can do that too. So let's talk about your game and what you have done. So it evolved from where did you start and where are you at now, Tony?
Well, in the 90s, you got Mr. Grice down here with the old car and stuff in his thing, and he really kind of inspired a lot of folks toward this end of the street. And about 2003 or so, the lady that actually owns this house, I don't actually live here, she started decorating, and we started helping her out, and we went from a smoke machine and some PVC to this tableau, just to put it mildly. My kids got involved over the years. Of course, they're all in college now, and they would wear puppets and things that we had constructed at home, and people thought they were statues, and people would come up and clap thinking that they were the clapping things, and my kids would go, "What are you clapping at?" And before you know it, they were running down the street. But the train, my son wanted us to build a train for a long time, and during the Hurricane Ivan, everybody was out of electricity except for this neighborhood, which is kind of unusual, and he and I built the train, and that was in 2008, and the train has kind of carried the theme from there on in.
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of taken off, Tony. Congratulations to you. You know, it's the Haunted Mansion at Disney World has nothing on you.
Oh, well, the Haunted Mansion might be a little bit of inspiration too.
There you go. Yeah, inspirational.
I mean, and that's a big part of it. A lot of people are just inspired to do very creative things, and it's fun. I mean, it teases the old brain. It's like I was telling Aiden, you all were interviewing a while ago, that it's like a big old, I'm sorry, it's like a big old huge science experiment. I mean, everything is elementary science.
Well, congratulations to you and thank you, because you're part of the reason that this area, that Hillcrest Avenue, is so special to so many Louisvillians and people who visit. So thank you very much.
One thing that Miss Gautier wanted me to mention is that we have like nearly 50 houses decorated.
Wow, 50 houses.
Almost 50 houses.
Unbelievable.
And that's a lot of people just doing something that's just kind of cool to do.
Well, on behalf of the audience on Louisville Focus, to her and to you, happy Halloween.
Yeah, thank you. Happy Halloween to you all too.
So now you're more familiar with what exactly happens here on Hillcrest Avenue during this Halloween season. For all the creepiness, for all the fun, this is what it's all about.
Happy Halloween!